I want to say a few words about the various pieces of advice that are given to childless couples. This is mostly taken from questions and answers of Rav Moshe Sternbuch. He was a Rav in South Africa mostly, and primarily he lives in Israel, and he is one of the very important rabbis there in Jerusalem, in Badatz. And he has in his fourth volume and first volume some of the pieces of advice that I'm going to translate here. Most of them are spiritual advice, although some are completely physical pieces of advice that may be useful. And depending on, of course, the situation, there are various factors that may play why people can't have children or why a woman is having miscarriages. So I'm going to just bring some of these. First of all, he says, of course, to check the mizuzot, and if it's a man, right, the father, future father, right, the husband should check his tefillin. That's, of course, a generally good advice. Whenever things happen, chas v'shalom, that look like something is wrong, it's good to check the mizuzah and check the tefillin. And also to check the ketubah, right, in case there are some errors in it. Maybe, right, if the marriage contract is not written correctly, that may cause the fact that the marriage, chas v'shalom, does not result in any children. Also, he says it's good if two Kohanim, have in mind the names of these people before they make the brocha. So presumably, if you live in Israel, you could ask Kohanim in Israel to have you in mind every day. If you live chutz la'aretz, you could also contact Kohanim in Israel, or Sephardi Kohanim chutz la'aretz could make the brocha every day. Because Ashkenazim will only make the brocha outside the land of Israel a few times a year. So presumably it's much better if the Kohanim will have you in mind every day. He also says that the Mohel and the Sandek at the time of Bris Milah, when Hashem is especially merciful to us, that they should pray during Brit Milah for this couple to have children. Presumably even better would be for this person himself to be a Sandek, right? Special mitzvah. Yeah, if you're a Sandek at somebody else's Brit, maybe one day you'll be lucky to have your own son to have a Brit. Also, he says that it's good to read the Parsha of Ketoret from a parchment. Right? We'll read in the morning as part of the first part of the morning prayers, the piece that talks about nicely smelling substances that were brought in the temple, 11 ingredients of the Ketoret. So there is a minhag of some people to read it not of regular Sidur, but to have a special parchment, a cloth on which it's written. Today it's, by the way, becoming more and more widespread. A lot of people have these parchments. So he says that it helps with this too. And also, of course, the couple should invite a lot of guests, and the woman should pray before lighting the Shabbos candles. And specifically, he suggests that she should read the prayer of Hannah. Of course, Hannah was the righteous woman who had for a long time no children. And once she had Shmuel, one of our greatest personalities in our history. So it says in the second chapter of the book of Shmuel, in the verses from 1st to 10th, the prayer that she offered then, the thanksgiving prayer. And when she brought Shmuel to the temple. So it's good to read this. Sephardim read it every day, by the way, as part of morning prayers, but Ashkenazim don't really read it that often. So it would be good to read this, as he says, for the woman before she lights the Shabbos candles. And also, she should give tzedakah, especially before she goes to the mikvah, and she should pray that Hashem should send her children. And the husband should take on himself that if a child is born, he'll recite with great concentration the prayer Nishmas Kol Chai. Right? We say it every Shabbat, this prayer in the morning, and also during Pesach Seder. But he says it's a good thing to take on yourself that once you have a child, you'll say it with great concentration. If the problem was with the man's sperm, then his suggestions are to sit in cold water 10 minutes before relations. Apparently, he doesn't mean that the whole body should be in cold water. That might get him sick, but probably means his sexual organ should be in the cold water. Also, he says that it's good to eat garlic prior to relations. This already is mentioned in the Talmud. They used to eat garlic every Friday night because that was the main day, the best day for intimate relations with the wife. So eating garlic was a common custom. Today it's less common. In general, by the way, they suggest that the garlic should not be raw. And the Vilna Gaon also said that, maybe because otherwise it smells from the mouth. So you might get your wife disgusted, which is also not a good thing. So if the garlic is cooked or roasted, right? Some eat fish with garlic. Fish also, by the way, has this. There are all kinds of foods, by the way, that help in terms of the sperm. And the couple should stay away from smokers, as nicotine is very harmful. And there is also a tradition to boil aravot, the willow branches that we take on Sukkot, to boil them in water, because arava has the same gematria, the same numerical value as zera, sperm. And of course, when drinking this, one should still pray. And most importantly, one should not be nervous or upset. That actually may cause the problem with dysfunctioning. They call it erectile dysfunction and everything else that's similar. It might be simply because he's so nervous that itself becomes an extra cause for the problems. And he also says that if there are miscarriages that the woman is having, then it's a good idea to say before the reading of the Torah with concentration, "Ve'atem hadveikim ba'Hashem Elokechem, chayim kulchem hayom." Right? That's what we usually say when Torah is taken out. And the pregnant woman should be especially cautious not to eat anything that might not be fully kosher, right? To follow kashrut in every detail. And also it helps, according to Rizal, for them to add to Shabbat before and after. What's called Tosafot Shabbat, right? Not to start Shabbat too close to the beginning, but to add some more extra time, maybe half an hour before sundown. If you're adding time to Shabbat before and after, that is another sigula for children also. And of course, one should contact good doctors when it's necessary, but at the same time, they should always ask the rabbinical authority a question, because all these treatments that are usually suggested, they have to be correct according to halacha. So one has to make sure that that whatever the doctor is suggesting is not going to contradict the Jewish law. And in general, the couple should behave modestly, and the woman should dress modestly. And if after several years of marriage there are still no children, then there are certain things that rabbis sometimes permit with certain medical treatments that they wouldn't have permitted otherwise. This is, of course, each individual contacts their rabbinic authority. In any case, any treatment that's being done, not just in the case of children, every kind of treatment, it's a good idea to pray. The Talmud already mentions this, that you ask Hashem that this activity should bring me treatment, I should become better from it, because you are a free doctor. You are a doctor who graciously treats even those who don't deserve. So in the case of specifically treatments for children, the prayer would sound something like this: "May it be your will, my God and God of my fathers, that this treatment will bring me full recovery, cure me so I will have healthy children, because you treat graciously even those who are not deserving." And if you like this video, please press like.